afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Graff, and I will be up here talking to you about the importance of hydration in physical activity. I even decided to do this topic while up here observing for our ES 460 class. I would be up here and I would see people working out in the fitness center for hour and a half stretches and never come out to get a drink or never have a water bottle or anything by their side. And plus, hydration is something that we all experience at some point, whether it be in the heat of summer, so it's something that's all applicable to us, so I figured it'd be a good topic to talk about. What am I all going to be talking about today? I'm going to be talking about hydration before your activity, because it's important. If you start off dehydrated, then your whole workout is just going to go downhill from there. The importance of hydration during your activity, and if and when you need sports drinks while you're working out, and then also hydration after your activity, and how can you tell once you are rehydrated. So I'm going to begin with talking about pre-activity hydration. Why is it important? Staying hydrated is particularly important during exercise. Adequate fluids intake is essential for comfort, performance, as well as safety. The longer and more intensely you exercise, the more important it is to drink the right amount of fluids. How much should you consume? There is no umbrella for everybody because it's all based on individuality and your needs and how heavy of a sweater you are and everything. But the American College of Sports Medicine suggests that you drink 15 to 20 ounces 2 to 3 hours before your activity, and then an additional 8 to 10 fluid ounces about 10 to 15 minutes before you actually start your activity. And then they also advise that consuming a beverage with some sodium or maybe eating like a small snack before helps you retain your fluid. I know that we learned in sport nutrition with Tina that eating pretzels or something small like that has salt in it as well as carbs helps you retain that fluid and makes you drink more during your actual activity. And then, is it possible to drink too much before? The answer to this is yes, it's possible to sit there and drink too much just straight water, flush all the electrolytes out of your system, and then you're more likely to cramp and become fatigued more easily. To find the correct balance of fluids for exercise, the American College of Sports Medicine suggests that individuals should develop a customized fluid replacement program so that way they prevent themselves from being dehydrated. You're only supposed to lose 2% of your body weight during an exercise, during a workout, during whatever. So for a 200-pound male, which we don't have any of those in the room, but 200-pound male, that would be, you don't want to lose more than 4 pounds. So you weigh in at 200, you don't want to weigh out at less than 196. And then, I touched on that already, touched on overhydration. Let's move on to during your actual activity. How much do you need to drink and how often do you need to drink? Once again, the American College of Sports Medicine doesn't have individual, but their overall guidelines is you should drink 3 to 8 fluid ounces of water every 15 to 20 minutes for exercise that lasts less than 60 minutes. You may be sitting there thinking, well, I'm not going to sit there and measure out, 2 ounces during exercise. How much is an ounce? An ounce is about, you just sit there, if you take a drink of water, about 1 gulp is about an ounce. So you want to drink 3 to 8 gulps every 15 to 20 minutes of exercise that lasts less than 60 minutes. And then, what happens if you don't drink enough or you drink too much? All depends upon your sport, because the more intense the sport, the more high demands. Observations of sweat rates in various sports frequent from losing about 0.3 liters to 2.37 liters per hour, depending upon the sport, depending upon the intensity of the activity. For example, swimming, you lose about 0.4 liters per hour, and compare that to cross country where you lose 1.8 liters an hour. Moving on to sports drinks, how do you know if they are right for you? How much should you consume, and can this affect overhydration at all? The American College of Sports Medicine recommends that you drink 3 to 8 fluid ounces of sports beverage, which is considered 5 to 8% carbohydrate with electrolytes. This covers your normal Gatorades, your Powerades. You're supposed to drink this every 15 to 20 minutes when exercising greater than 60 to 90 minutes. Do not drink more than 1 quart an hour. Your normal Gatorade is 20, your bigger ones are 32. Drinking about 20 ounces, okay. 32, you're sitting there starting to push you for drinking that an hour for just 60 to 90-minute exercise. Why is this important to consume sports drinks? Carbohydrates consumption helps to sustain and improve exercise performance during high intensity exercise longer than 1 hour, while a lower intensity exercise for longer periods. You should ingest 1/2 to 1 liter of sports drinks each hour, which I said before. And then studies have found athletes who lose as little as 2% body weight through sweating have a drop in blood volume, which causes the heart to work harder to circulate the blood, which a drop in blood volume leads to muscle cramps, leads to dizziness, leads to heat illness such as heat exhaustion and stroke. I was supposed to turn that before I talk about that. Anyway, dehydration. How do you know if you are dehydrated following your activity? A lot of us have seen a chart similar to this at some point. I know at one point they were hanging above every urinal in the men's locker room, whereas you could literally sit there after practice, after a game, whatever, and check where you were at, whether you were hydrated, if you were dehydrated. Hopefully you were never extremely dehydrated.
What locker room?
At Griswold.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And then, how do you know once you're properly rehydrated? Obviously, if you have a chart similar to this, which I don't know if anybody has this hanging in their house, but I was always told that if you could sit there and read a newspaper or anything like underneath your urine, like you filled it up in a plastic bottle or whatever, took it, read over it, that's when you knew you were dehydrated, which if it makes sense. Your lighter colors, you can see through your darker ones, not so much. Estimates that are 75% of Americans have mild to chronic dehydration throughout the course of a year. This is alarming since proper hydration is required for maintaining healthy blood flow, proper kidney function, proper sodium, potassium, electrolyte balance, and also proper digestive function. Here's another chart that I found that was interesting based on your dehydration levels. If you're 0 to 1% dehydrated, you've got that thirst, you feel like you need to drink something, which all of us I'm sure have heard that if you're thirsty, you're already starting to be dehydrated, it's already too late. Then the stronger thirst or big discomfort is when you're 2%. I jumped down here to 9% because when I was younger playing soccer, I was struggling with muscle spasms a lot. I'd be over there in between periods, I'd be sitting there rubbing, Theragesic or something on my back. My coach would be sitting there massaging me, trying to get to loosen up. So looking back, I wondered, was I really dehydrated? Was it something that was just wrong with my muscles? I just thought that was interesting. Then you sit there and you compare this to percent body weight change. This is percent of water, percent fluid in your body. Compare that to percent body weight change. If you're well hydrated after a workout, you are either plus 1% to minus 1% of your body weight when you started. Minimum dehydration is you're down 1% to 3%. Significant dehydration is you're down 3% to 5%, and then serious dehydration is 5%. You sit there, go back to my example before, 200-pound male, if he's 5% of his body weight's down, that means he's weighing in at 190 now. So if you're losing that much during the course of an activity, you need to rehydrate, you may need to sit there and consult a doctor, or just change your exercise routine, get more water as you're working out. Post-activity hydration. How soon after you finish your activity do you need to start rehydrating? The first 30 minutes right after is most important, and then overall 2 hours after is most important. You obtain your own body weight and check your urine for estimations for your fluid loss. The goal is to correct the losses within 2 hours, as I mentioned before. You should drink 20 to 24 fluid ounces of water or sport beverage for every 1 pound that you lose. Say if you lose 2 pounds, you should be drinking 40 to 48 fluid ounces 2 hours after your activity. And then it's also important to consume a 4 to 1 carb to protein ratio within those 2 hours. Carbs help hold water, help hold fluid. It also helps to replenish your glycogen stores faster following your workout. Those are my references. Does anybody have any questions?
How thirsty are you right now?
Pretty thirsty. frogs in right here.
I had a question. It was on something in the beginning. I don't remember now.
Do you want me to go back through the slides? See
Sure,
something?
let's try.
Let's go back to the beginning. That's the intro.
One more.
One more.
Nah, I don't know that it's gonna help.
Okay, I just thought maybe.
I can't remember. Do you have any recommendations for knowing how much to drink if you're not going to weigh yourself before and after?
That's a good question.
When you feel thirsty. I mean, I don't know that there's an answer to that because
Obviously, if you-
formula-wise, that's the answer.
Yeah, if you're feeling thirsty, it's already too late. Probably just kind of trial by error. If you know you're a heavy sweater like me, I step outside in the middle of summer, I start dripping sweat. I'm a real easy sweater. If I'm working outside, I work construction. Any down second, I'm usually taking a few pulls of water, have a little bit of Gatorade if it's around noon, 1 o'clock. Just probably knowing your own body, trial by error, and if you're not going to sit there and actually weigh yourself.
Oh, I remember. The swimming statistic,
Yes.
do you have any idea why that is? Why do you not dehydrate? Because you're in water? Like, is it seriously because you're in water? I don't feel like that can be why.
I think it's higher elevation than that's why.
Oh,
You know,
The water's helping probably control your body temperature,
Yeah.
probably not sweating as
okay.
much.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is very interesting. That's a
Because
significant
people sit
difference.
there like swimming, you sit there and think that's a whole body workout. That's what people say is your best. And, that's how Michael Phelps would sit there and consume, 10,000 calories, whatever it was when he was training for the Olympics. But I don't know. That would be my guess, is that the water
Yeah.
temperature helps regulates it, because your pools
Sure.
aren't normally 100 degrees. They're about like bath water temperature, now a little cooler, so you're not obviously sweating in the water. Now that would be interesting though too, that statistic that came from, I know that at some meets they're actually held outdoors in pools, like they're not completely enclosed, like down in Australia, the 2000 Olympics, those were all outside. So I'm guessing those are probably all controlled indoor environments with air conditioning or heat in the pools.
No, I've never thought about that.